First, establish your horizon line. This does not have to be perfect, but it has to be accurate. I do a very simple perspective grid to start out, and this is extremely important when it comes to making sure that your splash looks like it is laying on the surface that you intend it to. If the ellipses created by the splash, the elliptical ripples that emanate outward from the splash, are not accurately aligned with your perspective grid, the splash will look a little bit odd. Now I'm going to establish where my impact point is going to be. It's going to be right around here. So I'm going to do a quick path of action. This is where our ball, which is going to strike the water surface, is going to enter frame, first frame, second frame, third, and this is where it will impact the water surface. So this is the beginnings of my diagram for my splash animation. We know that this ball, roughly the size of a golf ball, let's say, is going to come in from screen right, enter into the frame, and then splash down on the fourth drawing. These balls could be traveling, if it's traveling very, very quickly, we would want to put this ball on ones, one frame per drawing. And I am animating this at 24 frames per second, just so you know. That is the standard for classical animation. It's quite easy to adapt a piece of animation to work at 30 frames a second as well. But for old school sake and old time sake, I am sticking with 24 frames a second, which a great deal of animation has been done at. Now here is my first guideline for the angle of my eclipse. This is the angle of the ripples that will be emanating out from the point of impact. And as you see, because I have this perspective grid underneath, I'm able to accurately draw that ellipse so that it really feels like it's laying on that surface. If that ellipse was flattened out and rounder, it doesn't feel like it's laying on that surface, if you see what I mean with this incorrectly drawn ellipse here. Now this is something that I see a great deal in animated films. I've seen beautiful splashes with ellipses that aren't laying properly on the perspective grid. It can really hurt your animation. It's very important as well to realize that as this ellipse is expanding, it doesn't expand outward in 360 degrees at the same rate. It will be moving much farther in this direction, and then as the perspective is coming towards us, it's not moving as far. See the difference in the distance from the last drawing. Here it's very little. It's very important that our ellipses grow out but retain their perspective integrity. It's extremely, extremely important. This is covered very clearly in Elemental Magic Volume 1. There are diagrams and explanations describing this phenomenon, so I won't belabor it here, but this is very important. Any secondary splashes that occur, it's very important that these ellipses have the same integrity, that they line up and work very well with our perspective grid so that everything will look very natural. Okay?